Tom, it's just a tough subject. A recent study by Brown University showed that nearly 450 children are killed each year by their parents.
My daughters were picked up on a Friday by their father to spend the weekend, and that night he pumped carbon monoxide into their bedroom and slit their throats.
Cases have begun for 2 children killed by their mother in Hopkins County.
9-year-old Hayden King was laid to rest today. Hayden's 4-year-old sister Harper will have a celebration of life service tomorrow morning.
Here's a story that's breaking at 6 o'clock. It's all centered around the 3 people you see on your screen. The key pieces in a Middletown murder case.
On the left is James Hutchinson. Police say the 6-year-old was killed allegedly by his own mother.
East Los Angeles mother was charged today with killing her 3 young children. The youngest was less than 2 months old.
At 6 with breaking news.
Good evening to you, friends. Greg Merriweather along with Elizabeth Vow. Our top story today, that precious little 2-year-old right now. 2 people are facing charges accused of murdering little Nevaeh Allen. Investigators found the 2-year-old dead in Mississippi after several days of searching.
One of those blamed in her death, the girl's mother, Lanaya Cardwell.
There is a lot of issues going on with this case that are now flooring detectives and the family. I've been monitoring the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's a boy that went missing in Tennessee. His mom has a message.
Love you so much, and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
Search into the 15-year-old's disappearance has all failed. This is a boy that has autism. He's a high-functioning autistic individual, and the parents are coming under heavy fire right now because it is leading to believe that foul play is involved. But here is something that the stepfather had to say early on in the investigation.
Chris and Katie tell me they've been harassed, people pointing fingers at them.
You're not in this situation. You don't quite understand.
Many here in the public are just concerned about the well-being of Sebastian Rogers and would like to see him come home and come home safely. However, the boy has been missing for a significant amount of time, and now this particular case has led investigators to a landfill. Landfills appear to be the most promising place for parents to dump their children because this is not the first time. I was on scene at the Leilani case, and this was related to her 20-month-old son, Quentin Simon, which was found in a landfill. Leilani Simon is behind bars. Also, Elijah Vu, he has not been found yet. He's missing from 2 Rivers, Wisconsin, and also the detectives and the investigators in this case have gone to the landfill and are currently doing a landfill search. Now that we know that foul play is perceived in this case, we're going to take a look at the parents' interview. Please stay tuned and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel here on TikTok. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.
Well, good evening, my beautiful people. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. This is kind of spinning the weekend out. Tomorrow is Manic Monday. It is, and it's going to suck for many of you, but don't worry. I'll be here with bells on, getting you guys ready for work and off to your crazy week ahead. So I'm not going to spend too much time on giving you too much background. I think everybody that's here pretty much knows the case that we're going to be covering this evening. This is Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy. We learned, or allegedly learned, that he went to bed around 9 p.m. on the February 25th, and when mom woke up at 6 a.m. on February 26th, he wasn't there, and everything from that moment on is a mystery. We have been trying to figure out what is going on in this family. We feel deceived. We feel duped. We feel lied to. We watched Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, go out there and beat the pavement and hurt himself trying to find his son, bring his son home, while the mother and the stepfather have sat on their rear ends and have not lifted a finger to assist, but at the beginning was touting all over social media and mainstream media how concerned they were and how they're doing everything to help. Yet when we had bodies out there, they weren't doing anything but trying to interfere with search efforts for their very son. It made everybody feel very, very uncomfortable. We've all been looking at Chris Proudfoot. Chris Proudfoot is maintaining he was in Memphis some 3.5 hours away. And we are just trying to find out, where is Sebastian? Clearly, the immediate 5-mile radius is pretty clear that Sebastian Rogers is not there. I don't know how many times we can rake over, comb over, whatever we can do there. He's not there. So I was talking to the mods. We were having quite the conversation today, about this entire case, about the direction, about, what we think can possibly happen, what we can see happen. And I think it really comes back down every time we look or learn something new, it comes back down to Katie Proudfoot. So when we first started this journey out, I kind of said, my thoughts, my theories, and some things just never made sense to me. And one of those things that never made sense to me was the weekend. The fact that Chris Proudfoot didn't come home that weekend, and that in and of itself does not make sense to me. And here's why. I've been in the construction industry for my entire life. It's in my blood. My multiple family members own from roofing companies to electrical companies and everything in between. I've been driving on trucks since I was 2 years old. I've been on job sites growing up. Sometimes we were out there with my mom and dad working on houses in the middle of the night to hit our deadlines. So there is that. And I have never in my life known a construction worker that has a family at home that has the weekend off and only 3 hours away chooses to sit in a camper, in a bed in a camper, instead of go to his home and lay in his own bed, kick back in his recliner and drink a beer. I'm sorry, I don't know of any construction worker that's unwilling to do that. But this is what they're wanting us to believe. So a lot of stuff has been coming out, and we don't know which direction it's going, whether it holds water or not. And there's two major aspects of this that came out here just recently. One is the fact that somebody may have seen Chris Proudfoot's mother near the school, parked by a country store, around 5:45 in the morning, that around the time that Katie Proudfoot would be driving the area. Many people believe that she passed Sebastian off to him or some type of evidence off to them. That is what is believed. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. It very well may be true. What we also have learned is that it is possible there was a sighting in a truck that resembles heavily of what Chris Proudfoot drives, with a person that looked like
Sebastian Rogers in the front seat looking like he was sleeping at about 5:45 in the morning. Now, we don't know if any of these hold water, but they're very concerning because if we are led to believe that Chris Proudfoot had a hand in this and that he took Sebastian with him in whatever condition, and Katie knew about it, would Katie be wanting to try to get rid of some evidence, maybe with some people that have been complicit in other crimes against children, such as maybe trying to get a child from, say, a gold-digging ex-wife? Not that I believe Nina's a gold-digging ex-wife, but I'm just saying that's how they perceive her. So we have these things kind of coming together, in my opinion. Several different things coming together. And what it always comes back to in this case is that Katie Proudfoot apparently passed her polygraph test. But did she? Because this is really where it gets hairy on whether me personally think that this is premeditated or if this was an accident or, you guys know how I feel. I think that this was a rage fit that happened, but either way, it's the whole passing of the polygraph that's got me stumped. Because it either means that that Christopher snuck in, if we believe Christopher did it. This is all allegedly speculation. I just want to make sure that we clear that up for the record. That's your disclaimer. If we believe that Chris Proudfoot had a hand in this and Katie passed her polygraph test, then to me that means that Chris broke into his own house, did the dirty deed without Katie having knowledge of it. And then we've always questioned that 3-hour telephone conversation. Could that explain that? Could he have been watching her, monitoring her on that conversation so he knew when to go in? Because there was no forced entry into the house and the door was locked the next morning. So obviously it was somebody from inside that home. So there's that. Now that's with her passing the polygraph test. Now we hear that he may have been seen at this gas station that just happens to be going toward Chris Proudfoot's home. Now, if we use that as a guide and say that that lead is true, we don't know if it's true or not. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. We're just having a discussion here, theories and speculation. So if we believe that that was Chris and that was Sebastian, then we'd have to think, where would Chris have put Sebastian? There are two options in this theory. And one is just somewhere desolate. I put maps out there because I've never believed that Sebastian was near that home because of the belief that I have of what happened. So I've been looking further out on the maps long, about probably last week I was throwing out maps with new areas to search. I think I even did a live here and showed you guys where I thought would be a prime location to search several different areas. And they were nowhere around their house. And they were off the I-40 corridor, which is just where this particular gas station is actually leading. So if we were to take that, then where would he put Sebastian? He would have to put him somewhere in a wooded area or the RV. Or the RV. He wouldn't have had time to do anything with Sebastian, in my opinion. He just wouldn't. And we all were very, very, very perplexed as to why he left in the middle of all of this to go back and get his camper. And so I am putting that together with these new potential revelations to see how they fit into this storyline and into this particular theory. I've got several theories that are going, and the one that starts to hold water the most is going to be where I'm going. I think there are several viable options, none that leave Chris Proudfoot, unfortunately. Has Ellie searched the RV? I don't know, Alexis. Last time we heard, there's no forensics done. None. And remember, he left immediately the next day. So it's not like one of these things where he probably knew that they were about to start checking some stuff and he needed to go get his camper. He had more time that next day to take care of whatever he needed to take care of. And if there was any other issues, because I did put maps out and so did other people. We have to remember that they have left twice from their house to go into the location that Chris Proudfoot was allegedly at when Sebastian Rogers disappeared. Twice. They're still out there now. They're still out there now. So let me just get this up and we'll kind of read it together. This is the anonymous post. It was said, I'm not sure you're inquired about if this person had inquired about the license plate reader or not. But now with your reporting today of the tip that came in about the gas station, maybe it was him because of the timeline. And that's where I'm at. The timeline. It almost matches perfect with the timeline. But here's the issue with it. Is he wouldn't have had enough time to properly take care of the issue before he had to report to work. So that is being taken into consideration in all of this. Now, when did he go to work? I would have to think he had to be to work between 6:30 and 7:30. But I'm not sure because nobody has asked him when he reported to his job, when he was clocked in. We don't know that. And he has not been forthcoming with his schedule. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know what time he got to work, but we need to take that into consideration with this sighting at this gas station. And so this is the area, let me pull this up here. This is the area that Sebastian was in right here. This is the speedway right here that was the sighting of Sebastian. Right there. That is where the person, and they apparently provided receipts and made contact with law enforcement from what I hear, and provided them the receipts as well. And basically it was it's the gas receipt that shows this convenience store and the timestamp when they were there. So that gives at least law enforcement a starting point to look and preview the footage, and that's if the footage isn't recorded over. That's why it's so important when a child goes missing. If there's a possibility of this being further out than a 5-mile or 20-mile radius, they should be reporting to law enforcement to go hit these places, but they don't. And sometimes it's a day late and a dollar short. So we're just going to have to pray that, you know, today's technology holds these videos a lot longer than they once did. So that's really it. And I want to know what everybody's thoughts are on this case. You know, do you guys think, well, I guess the first question would be is what do you personally think happened, right? You know, what is your theory? Do you think he was abducted? Do you think he ran away? Do you think he met with foul play? If you think he met with foul play, what type of foul play? Do you think this was premeditated? Who do you think the key players are in this particular situation? So I've got the telephone number, the 724-249-6140. As we start talking about this, and I go back and start reading your questions in chat, if you would like to call in, if you have something to contribute here, if you know something, you heard something, you would like to clarify something, please go ahead and call in. And while I'm waiting for those calls, we will go ahead and start going back and looking at some of your questions. I see that there is a few people in here. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. Josh says, hey, Betty, keep up the great work. Okay, thank you. Oh, here we go. Can everybody hear? This is Betty.
Hey, Betty, it's Tammy Sue.
Well, hello, Tammy Sue. How are you, my love bug?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
I was thinking, what if he kept her on the phone while one of his crazy family members came in and grabbed him?
Oh, wow. You know what? See, I wouldn't put it past, because of the stuff they did to Nina. Like, that was a family situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, they coordinated that with the family.
Right. I just wouldn't put it past one of his family members working with him.
Good perspective. Yeah, he distract her. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel that one of his family members is working with him.
That is possible, but you know what? If that was the case, then we at least know there's going to be a great forensic data trail, because there's no way they would be able to communicate with each other without cell phone.
Right.
Interesting, Tammy Sue. Well, now you got my brain percolating.
So I think we kind of have to look at some of his family members, if maybe they're involved too. I mean, they seem to be involved anyways.
You know what? That is kind of funny. I don't know what it is. Ever since I've been doing all of this, it's kind of funny how one case almost shines a light on another case. And it's kind of the same way with the two women over in Kansas and Oklahoma, that we're going to get the kids. It seems like it was the in-laws in that one as well.
Right.
It's kind of weird how that happens. We have the kids seem to go in a group, and it's weird like that. I don't know. Huh. Interesting. Well, thank you, Tammy Sue. How have you been?
I've been good.
All right. Well, Love Bug, I appreciate your commentary, and call back again.
I will.
All right, love.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, you're welcome, Tammy Sue. God bless you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So the in-laws. What does everybody think about the in-laws? That was pretty interesting. I have to be honest with you. I think that they would, dump evidence, but actually going in the house and doing the dirty deed or I shouldn't say it like that. Huh, interesting. This is Betty. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, this is Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Alexis Angel. I'm calling from Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, Alexis, I think I've seen you in the chat before. You want to turn me down in your background?
Yes, I turned you down in my background.
Okay, great. So what do you think happened?
So I went with a friend today, and we went in the Hendersonville, Gallatin area, and we drove by Chris's house, the Proudfoot's house, and then Chris's parents' house. The parents do not even have Chris's parents, the grandparents, do not even have a sign in their yard, which I found really weird. I definitely think they have something to do with it. And I mean, there's not even many. I saw maybe 5 signs in Gallatin and Hendersonville.
That's sad.
So that was
sad.
Yes, that's really strange to me.
There was a comment that we saw. I think it was in, I can't remember what it was. And it might have been Seth saying it. I don't remember where it was, but it's something to the effect of Chris had said that Katie and him were having marital problems and that he hopes she chooses her son versus him. Do you remember hearing that?
No, I haven't heard that. I have been following since day one. I was hoping there would be a search today, but I tried to reach out to Seth, and I couldn't get his information, the right information, I guess. But I also think it's super weird that why would you go out of town when your son is missing? Why did the grandparents go to Alaska 2 days after? I think that law enforcement needs to search the RV. I'm not sure why they haven't had dogs in the RV, been searching. It's mind-blowing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Seth is hurt. I think he's hurt a lot worse than a lot of people think. I think he hurt himself, and I knew after yesterday's vigil he was going to have to take a break. He's been running on fumes for a month. He's damaging his body. He's not taking care of himself. He's running. He's just running. So I think From my understanding, he's just going to take a step back for a second just to get him,
Right.
A break.
I do have a question for you. What do you think about, because I saw where Chris and Katie, or Chris, I'm not sure if I can't remember if it was both of them or just Chris, but Chris had told Nancy Grace that he would take a polygraph, and then when she got it set up and it was ready to be taken, he refused it.
Yes.
Why do you think that is? And why do you think, I'm also in the Find Sebastian Facebook group, and he had said on there that that law enforcement had already cleared him, and that he had taken, which no one's cleared. Sebastian hasn't been found, no one's cleared. But why do you think that Chris lied and then said he would take one, and then now he's going back on his word to Nancy Grace? That's super strange to me.
And I think your point being is, why would he lie? I think that's the one thing that we have all been asking ourselves. Why would anybody lie about those things? One thing I noticed up front, he always tried to clump himself with Katie and Seth. We've all been cooperative. We've all taken, the mother, the father, and I, we've all taken the polygraph. We've all passed. We are all cooperative. We've all been cleared. He always kept wanted to clump himself with Katie and Seth all the time. There was no differences between any of them whenever they first started talking at the very beginning. It wasn't until there was some fracturing and some calling out and Chris not acting right. And I think Seth might have, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes either, because clearly Seth and Chris and Katie are still talking behind the scenes on the phone because they're having arguments, we're learning. So I don't know. I don't know. If you were to ask me, I don't know.
Well, thank you for answering. I just wanted your insight on a few things, and hopefully we find closure and find what's happened to Sebastian, and justice will be served for those that have done something with him. And I do think that the Proudfoots, whether it's stepdad and mom or grandparents, definitely need to be investigated more, and the RV 100%.
I think a lot of people know something, because I think Chris, Katie, I think the Bauer Sox, I think they all are in the know of what happened.
Me too.
So, well, thank you. It was nice to hear your voice, honey.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Interesting. But you know what? At the end of the day, she's absolutely right. Why would anybody lie? Why would he lie? Why would anybody lie? You got a child that is missing. Why lie? This is Betty. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is Betty.
Hi, Betty. This is Tony. I'm calling from Colorado, and I've been keeping up with the Sebastian Rogers
you said
as much as I
Tony?
possibly can. And I had some alarming information, and I've been wanting to get a hold of you. I've been watching JLR and Nancy Grace and Valley Vision, all of you guys, when I can. And in one of the interviews, and I'm so sorry I cannot tell you who it was with, but I've just been they've been blending in every day, all you guys. And somebody had interviewed him. I'm not sure, like I said, if it was Sweetie Pie maybe, or Smiley, or maybe it was Nancy Grace, but I'm sure it wasn't you. But anyway, they had asked him about Sebastian Rogers, of maybe him possibly jumping out his bedroom window that night. And right away, Chris says, we would have heard that. And right then, I'm like, oh my God. And I think that's
would have
huge.
heard that. Ooh.
Yes, and that is huge. And ever since I heard that, I've been wanting to get this information. So I believe it was a few days ago.
A few days ago?
I believe so.
But not
I
last
believe
week?
so.
Just a few days ago?
I believe it was a few days ago.
Okay.
Yes, and right when I heard it, I'm like, oh my God, that interview, she's going to catch it. Or I believe it was a female interviewer. And they didn't say anything to him. And I held on to that, and I am so glad I got through to you.
If anybody heard that interview or knows what she's talking about and knows it off the top of your head, then can you guys send it over to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com? If not, then we'll start searching for it. I mean, if it's just been a few days, I mean, it couldn't be, I mean, a half a day, 2 days tops research to find it, but I'd like to hear that. So he said we would have heard it. Wow.
Yes. And right when he said that, I'm like, oh my God, then that's verification that he was there that night.
Huh. Well, well, thank you for that information. I'll definitely look into it. I wrote it down.
Okay, thank you so much, Betty.
So we're hearing it just for your information. I'm hearing it Smiley. Well, somebody's saying it's Smiley's and somebody's saying it's Nancy Grace. So I guess we'll wait until the polling is done.
Okay.
And somebody's saying Smiley's interview. So it's a toss up between Smiley and Nancy Grace. So at least we've honed it down to 2 people.
Okay, so well, that's good. Hopefully it'll come up something and they can use that information.
Perfect.
And go with it.
Yes. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. It's Sabrina from Virginia.
Well,
I started
hello,
watching
beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. I started watching you with Summer's case. And I know that if you hear something and you'll try to get to the bottom of it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Chris said he was in Mississippi or whatever all that time. What if when social services was called CPS, we call it social services in Virginia, what if he was told to leave the home? Because I know here in Virginia, if there's a suspicion of child abuse or domestic violence, the person that's accused is asked to leave the home until they do an investigation. That would have given him, we need to find out if he had a history of staying there in where he worked, or if that was the first time he left was after the CPS come. Because I know here in Virginia, sometimes when the CPS orders a parent out of the home or a boyfriend or whatever, they tell them not to come back for like 30 days till the investigation is completed. But the mother or father sneaks them back in. And they're still able to stay even though they've been ordered not to. That would mean he wouldn't say he was at the house if he knows CPS has ordered him not to be.
And Sabrina,
And
I've got to be honest with you. My mods have brought that up to me a couple times, and I know that that's been a concern because there's been, some information. People have been saying, what if he wasn't even supposed to be there? What if something happened and he lost his cool and he's like, holy crap, this is going to be, CPS 2.0. I've got court with my daughter and just lost his ever-loving stuff. Because I think...
And they knew that Sebastian had evidence against him. What better way if he were... And his family would support him like they did with his last wife. If he wanted to do something, they're going to cover it up, even if Katie's involved. And I believe she is. I believe that both of them are involved. I believe that the whole, same with Summer, take her out, had the best day, and then she goes missing. They wanted to show a good time that Sebastian had. And Katie looked at Chris and said, and we got her niece, didn't we? And Chris shook his head. Well, why would she need to look at him and ask if they got their niece and took him with her?
I know.
Took her with them.
We got that. I was watching that Chronicles of Olivia interview here, and I was going straight to talk to, because I had already watched it once, and I went straight to talk to the changes in the very first interview with Olivia's. And when we were watching, I couldn't remember where it was. we were watching over that, and I had just happened to glimpse at that, and I literally stopped it live here on my show, and I'm like, did you just see that? She looked at him to confirm information. He wasn't even supposed to be there. That was the first time I had seen that, even though that was the second time I watched that video. But we noticed it too.
Yeah.
It was
And
clear.
In the one video, she says, somebody asked about life insurance, and she kind of snickers and says, well, his dad does. And trying to put that there, but somebody has mentioned that it was a Gerber life that you can get when your baby is first born, and that Katie is beneficiary of it.
Oh, interesting. I did not know. I figured Seth had, but that would probably make sense. You know, that was probably part of their the settlement. If anything happened, that would be split between the two beneficiaries, which would be mom and dad.
But if he left, I think she's so beneficiary, and if she is, she knew that she would get that she knew Seth was still.
Yeah, no, not really, because he's not deceased, so they're not going to be able to collect on that at all. He's just a missing person. And I don't think, and from what I gather, it's only like a $10,000 policy. It's just probably.
Yeah, I know they couldn't. If they can't find the body, they can't, collect on it, which made me think maybe it's nothing to do with that, because if you want to collect life insurance, you want the body to be found.
Well, and you want a little more than $10,000 too. I mean.
Well, it depends on,
they got $1 million worth of stuff. I mean, they probably blow $10,000 every quarter.
Yeah, but they would have made it easier for the body to be found if he isn't alive. Yeah. But still yet, I certainly believe that Chris snuck in all month long to see them. I don't know how, because he couldn't be spotted there. CPS would have got him if he was ordered not to come. If we can find a way that he got to sneak in, which is she picked him up somewhere. He could have laid in the back of the car.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do all that. I mean, you're talking about CPS. You can barely get them to clean up spilt milk. I mean, it really, we're putting too much stock in CPS. They come by there, but unless there's another incident, I doubt you're going to see them. I mean, that's the problem we're having across this country right now anyways, is the failures of the Department of Children and Family Services.
Yeah, they do fail a lot. But if he really thought that he didn't want to get caught coming home, she could have picked him up. He laid in the back seat till they got in the garage. The garage door shut. He's free as a bird.
Yeah.
Nobody would even know he's there.
Yeah. Well, Sabrina, I appreciate your insight, and I thank you, and I hope you call back.
And much respect for you. Bye, hon.
God bless you. Bye-bye. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. This is Luann from Washington.
Oh, hey, Luann. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I've never called in before, but when you have little children, it's just so awful to see this go on. And I just had one quick comment.
Sure.
Way back, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I was listening to one of the interviews with the biological father, and he made a comment that he was talking to the stepfather, and the stepfather had said he had just having terrible problems in the marriage and that he was going to get his son back soon. And I'm thinking, okay, one of two things there. The lie detector test kind of throws me off, but either he got angry and something happened too soon and he lost it with the little boy and it just didn't get that far. Or the mother knew he was going to leave her, women, and she figured she'd do something so he wouldn't leave her, because the problem seemed to be the little boy. He was a hard little boy to keep up with. And so would she have done something when she knew that he might leave her, and so she just did something or he lost his temper before he could get that little boy to the real dad before he left her.
I also believe there's a third option because this is the problem that I'm seeing here. It doesn't seem like anybody really had a problem with Sebastian but Chris. His mom didn't seem to have a problem with him. His father didn't seem to have a problem with him. His family didn't seem to have a problem with him. Nobody disliked that boy but Chris. What if the idea of Chris ever having to see that boy inside his house unnerved him? Because he wanted that boy so far away, and yes, Seth was going to take him that summer, but he was still going to be coming over on the weekends and during summer vacation. And I just truly believe Chris wanted nothing more to do with that kid.
Right, and by telling the stepfather, hey, I'm having marriage problems, you're going to get your kids back. This is not going good. And I just have this feeling for a lot of different psychological reasons with this Chris guy. You can just look at him and know he's kind of got his own issues. He's been married a lot of times trying to figure things out. And he's had, issues with not being honest with past marriages and children. And I just think something's lying in there between the woman knowing that child is a lot to take care of and he's going to leave her again, and or Chris, just like you said, he just didn't want him in the house anything, and he was trying to get rid of him, but he lost his temper and just couldn't take it any longer.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense for anything else.
Nothing else makes sense. It comes right back to the house, and it comes right back to two main players, and that's really it.
For weeks I've been watching this, and I just love the Lord, and I don't like to ever prejudge, but you just sometimes have to put all the things together, and I think the police, unless they did a terrible job, they've got to have more on this with these two people. They're just letting them hang themselves, I think.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, I keep trying to go back, because it's a big thing called probable cause. You can't really get a whole lot of warrants. I mean, you can get some things. You can get the phone records fairly easy, you can get certain things pretty easy, but when you need to start getting some more really distinct and specific information and evidence, that's when you got to you have to show this probable cause, that you need it, that there's just cause, there's good cause to get it.
Well, ask any attorney. We have some in our family, and it's all going down to DNA to really almost convict anybody. So if you have a trial where you can't find a body or there's just circumstantial evidence, it's really tough because the standards have been set high. Jurors want to see DNA or something that totally takes them off the spectrum of having to judge someone without
you need to prove that the person is deceased, and that person is deceased because of that that defendant.
And that is really difficult. This is a newer theory that they're doing now, and I just feel like all the evidence that I sit here every day and say, okay, he says this to the real father. He's having troubles with her. He's been married many times. He's frustrated. He's traveling. He's living out of town. He's hiding stuff. He's flirting with waitresses and living in a trailer. And, she's frustrated because she sees it all falling apart. And what's the one thing that if they got rid of, she might be able to travel with him, she might be able to make him happy, is that little boy.
Yeah.
That little
boy.
But
she passed her polygraph. He has never taken one, and he's lied about his timeline. So maybe you've got the theory right, but the wrong player.
That, or sometimes law enforcement will say whatever to assure somebody they passed something. They don't have to. They can lie. They can say, oh, yeah, you passed it, and she'll go out thinking she passed it, and she didn't.
That is true.
They do that all the time. So I just think that unless this police force really doesn't have a heart, I think they're digging in. I think that if they are involved in any level, there will be some type of phone evidence or something to keep them going on the trail. If those two, because they were communicating. She didn't want him to leave. She was on the phone for hours. Then he finally orders her, okay, put the doggies to bed and go to bed. It's too much.
It's too much. It seems scripted. I think that's the word that we're trying to say is it sounds, scripted. It sounds scripted. What do we, and I'll get onto this in another thing, but thank you so much for your calling, your perspective, and I appreciate it.
Love you for all your help. I'll say some prayers. Truly, I will.
Oh,
Truly.
Thank you. Thank you. We
Thank
need
you.
to pray
Good
for
new
my
work.
cussing. That's the thing. That's the thing we need to work on next.
I know, honey. You're out there doing it. God bless you.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty, how are you?
I'm doing well. Who's this and where are you calling from?
My name is Wani, and I'm calling from San Antonio. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well.
I wanted to say bravo to you. I first saw you on, oh my God, the case with the people in the house when you first had your bullhorn.
Oh, Gabby Petito.
But I wanted to know this. Has anybody ever wondered why was Chris the one that called?
Oh no, hold on, I'm gonna call you back. Don't go nowhere. I just hung up on her. I think this is her. Hold on. There she is. Okay. How do I accept? Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
we're about to get the eclipse. Don't know what's happening.
I'm so sorry.
We're about to get the eclipse here. Things are going nuts. Seth said that it wasn't Katie that asked about Sebastian coming to live with him. It was Chris.
Yes.
That called him. And I found that to be kind of strange. Just like, why would stepdaddy call the bio dad to say, come get your son? That was strange to me because as a mom with a son, a step-parent couldn't do that, right?
What if he did that to test the waters to see if it was possible before he approached Katie?
I know a Chris, and he's the type that has to be involved in every single thing and has to be in charge of every single thing, even though they don't really know what they're talking about or know what they're doing. Just like Chris being front and center,
interjecting,
because he wants to show that I'm there, but not realizing that you're making yourself look really suspect because you're saying a whole lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. So, and he wonders why people are attacking them. It's because of his own lies. The other thing is the clothing. Did Ellie get the clothing that Sebastian had on that night? Because what she described him sleeping in was almost exactly the same as what they claim he had on at dinner.
No, I don't think so, because I do recall, I think it was the Pascal show, or maybe it was Justin on TikTok. I can't remember. It was one of them that had asked him, was he in the same clothes that they reported him missing in? And he said no.
Oh,
but
good.
now ask the question, where were the clothes that he was at dinner in? And were those turned over to law enforcement? And I don't know.
That part. I think that would kind of be an open and shut case if she doesn't have them.
Yeah. But law enforcement's not telling us one way or another. As a matter of fact, they're trying to keep as much attention away from them right now while they're doing the investigation, because they need these people being cooperative and to continue to be cooperative, and I think that's why they're trying to say that there's no there's no evidence of foul play here, because in all fairness, if they say there is, then they're asking both Katie, Chris, and Seth as not witnesses but as possible suspects. Right now, with the missing person, they're only witnesses. So I think they're trying to keep that tampered down quite a bit.
Exactly. And now that I say that out loud, forgive me, chat, because you're right. They wouldn't tell us that about the clothes, because that's something that they would have to keep hush-hush.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's right.
To the integrity of the investigation.
Okay. I just want to say,
one other thing. You do remind me a lot of my mom in two ways.
Thank you.
One, her name is Betty.
Aw.
And two, she taught me how to cuss just like you. So, with that being said, I love you. I love you, Pat. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
and I'll see you guys later. Thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble. The preacher was just yelling at my cussing. I gotta watch my cuss words. The preacher's watching. This is Betty.
Betty.
Yes, how are you? Who's this and where are you calling from? Is this Matt?
It's Mab Investigates from California.
I just heard that. I'm like, wait a minute. I do recognize that voice.
Yeah.
How are you doing, my friend? Long time no see. I almost want to have a conversation with you just about how you and your wife are doing.
Well, my face is finally starting to get better.
Nice. Well, that's a while.
I haven't been able to go live for like, I don't know, a month or two. I think we just did one a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it through, so it looks like we'll be starting regular stuff. But this case kind of got me sucked in. I think it all revolves around Faith and him getting custody of her. He thinks he's going to get custody of her.
Right, thanks, yep.
You know, the whole premeditation with the abduction of the child and the whole premeditation of freaking her out at the airport and videoing it all. Look at this, she's a crazy lady. You know, all of that kind of stuff leads me to believe that the family is really tight, almost like a cabal, and they cover each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they conspired all together to steal that kid, so I think they all conspired together to get rid of Sebastian.
It sounds like it because you know they conspired together to try to take Faith from Nina.
Yeah. And it was a long-term premeditated event.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it went, you know, they had to have thought it out and just implemented phase 1, phase 2, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of hints that this was planned. The only thing I can't get over, and again, it's speculation because the only person we heard that passed the polygraph test was from Katie Proudfoot herself. Nobody else has confirmed or corroborated that other than Chris Proudfoot. Neither one of them I really believe.
Yeah, I don't believe either one of them, and I don't think she passed, even if they told her she passed. I don't think she did.
Mm-hmm.
And now Chris supposedly is going to take one from TBI.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's going to be taking the one from TBI. I think TBI needs to be the one that gives it to him anyways. I think they should, as soon as he offered to give it to him the first time, and if that's true, which I don't know if that's true, they should have jumped at it. I mean, anytime somebody's offering to give you in any situation, you should take it while you can because you never know when you're going to get an opportunity to have it again.
Exactly. Yeah, this poor kid, it just kills me.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. And I didn't think, that this was, I think for that first split second, I thought this was an autistic boy that walked out the door. And I think it wasn't until like 2 or 3 days later that people were like, you need to look at this. This is not right. Something's not right here.
Yeah, he would have been found if he was just walking around.
Yeah. It definitely, I'm glad that social media picked up this case, but I kind of feel like if Riley's strain didn't happen, that Sebastian Rogers probably wouldn't get the attention that it needed, which is
You're probably right.
But
I know there's a million cases just like this that never see the light of day.
Absolutely.
So us YouTubers can bring those people to light.
Yeah, social media is making its way. It's making its impact, and we can tell each day because every time mainstream media bitches about us, we know why.
Right. And that Cajun Navy, man, has really got me, they really sound like a smoke and mirrors organization.
I keep wondering if that's, because it's funny because Seth's mom keeps saying something about people coming there for just profit, and it's like everybody that's been there, everybody's like a YouTuber or TikToker or something on their platform, but they're there to help. They're there to search. It is
Right.
just the way that they are able to do
And
that.
they have to pay their own expenses.
Right. And I keep wondering, the
that.
way she says it with such anger, it just feels like she's speaking to the United Cajun Navy. I don't know why I got that feeling today, but I just did.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching live when they called the cops on JLR, and the guy came and cussed out Dolly. Was threatening to, trespass him and all that stuff in a public parking lot.
See, I would have told that. I would have told that guy. I don't care how big he was. I'd have told him slap to his face to get bent.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they had their airboat out there in the middle of the parking lot. Looks like they were planning some kind of media interview or something. They didn't want anyone around.
I'd have been screaming that big boy around me. He's abusing me. He's hitting me. Help me. He'll be like, I'm getting away from you, ma'am.
Where's the baby?
Stranger danger.
And then he gets up on Nancy Grace and says, well, we don't, it'd be best if nobody live streamed the searches, blah, blah, blah. Nancy Grace shut him down.
Well, I mean, think about it. How many times we live stream everything, and think of how many hours we go back through those live streams and go through every little inch of that. You can't do that kind of analysis there, boots on the ground. And when you have that footage, you can go back and you can rewind it and you can look at it and you can identify different things in the video that you may have forgotten or may have missed. But that's not really why I record. I'm a single woman out there. I record everything. It just is what it is. People are going to have to love it or hate it. It doesn't matter. It's on my body, and you're not going to tell me what to do with my body. But I'm going to record everything. It's for my protection as well as everybody else's.
Yeah. And, they did some shady stuff at the Riley Strain thing, too.
Yeah.
Using the narc diver stuff. The narc diver guy came out against the Cajun Navy because they were doing scammy stuff there, too.
Yeah.
And the Cajun Navy, when you hear that name Cajun Navy, it sounds like they're going to show up with, 25 guys dressed in camo. No, it's just one dude and maybe one to three people, and that's the Navy.
Yeah, that was nothing. That was, when you say you're manning a search, that means we expect you to be out there. We expect you to coordinate. We expect you to show everybody where it's at and have team leads out there with the people. You just don't send wild people out there in the wild and say, "Oh, good luck."
Yeah. Exactly.
But anyways, all right, Mab. Well, you take care and God bless. And it's so great to hear your voice.
God bless you. I'll be watching.
All right, hon. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
This is Betty.
Hey, Betty.
Hello. Who's this and where are you calling from?
My name is Tammy, and I'm calling from Alabama.
Well, hello, Miss Tammy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. What do you think's going on with this case?
So we have a whole TikTok group that we have been going live every day. It's a bunch of ladies, and we've been going live every day and talking out every scenario and everything that we think, could possibly have happened to Sebastian, and the bizarreness of the mom and the stepdad, and what happened there. And we've had some people out actually searching. It was our live yesterday where the ladies were out searching. They had went to a park and they had found some items. Didn't know if it could be connected or not, but we went ahead and called the authorities just in case. There was a sock that was a red and blue sock that looked like like in the 70s sock, like a bowling sock. And we even had one of the ladies called the bowling alley to ask what kind of socks, just in case Sebastian may have had to buy socks when he bowled that day. So we called the authorities just in case any of that stuff was of interest. And the police did not take, it was a boxer briefs. They did not take the boxer briefs. They did not think that those were related to Sebastian. There was a little, it looked like a little flashlight. We were on live when we found these things, and people in the chat was like Googling it, and it looked like that it was a flashlight. We're not sure if the police took that or not. The girls had to leave.
Was it like a keychain type flashlight? I heard it was some type of small flashlight. It wasn't a big flashlight like I think we were envisioning.
Exactly. Like, yes, this was like way smaller than, about the size maybe of the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
So it was small. And like I said, people in the chat, it had some kind of initial or something on it, and people in the chat was seeing it and Googling it, and it said it looked like it came up like an Avengers flashlight. So then we thought, well, maybe that could have been something that, that he took, the flashlight. We're not sure if the police actually took that with them or not.
Mm-hmm.
But we just figure, if we're going to be out there searching and we find
things, it's better to be
things,
safe than sorry. I mean,
exactly.
You never know. It's kind of crazy because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You don't call them and it's something important. You're going to regret it in forever and ever. And you feel like if you call them and it's nothing, you're wasting their time. But you know what? It's always the ounce of prevention. You just never know what you're looking at. It's always safe to call if you find something.
Right, and that was our whole point. Why are we out here searching if we find something that could be of interest and then we don't call? Then what's the point? And then we got some hate because we did call, like, what do you got? Why are y'all wasting the police's time? But we don't know that that's wasting the police's time.
And neither do they. Don't ever listen to the hate because the people that are hating are ones sitting at home doing absolutely nothing to help. So you can't take stock in what other people say about you. Otherwise, you'll never get anything done.
Yes, you are 100% correct. And I live in Alabama, and we have another lady that lives in Pittsburgh. I can't remember. Anyway, we are driving down this week, and we're actually going to assist in the search. So we're going to be down in Tennessee this week, assisting in the search. We've already made our list of places that we would like to search, along with, meeting up with Seth and getting his take and, what can we do to help him out any way that we can. So we are going to have boots on the ground this week. We've got our hotel booked and everything and actually going down there and going to help with the search.
Well, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know from the bottom of everybody else's heart that can't be out there. And if you want to, you can reach out to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I've got some maps, and I can't get there. I've got no car. I've been waiting for a car for a month.
Hey, we can pick you up. We can pick you up if you need us to.
I'm in Florida. Unless you're planning on driving 13 hours, you ain't getting Bullhorn Betty. No, but seriously, I do have some maps of some ideas, especially in light of this new revelation that it's possible that there was a sighting at that gas station. It really does kind of open up some new areas.
It does. It does. My theory has been that that they done it. That Sunday fun day was kind of like a send off day for Sebastian. To me, it was a day for them to say, "Hey, look what a good mom she is. Look, you can pull the surveillance cameras. We were at all these places we said we were at." But we have no timeline of when did she get home. When did she get home with Sebastian that Sunday night? We don't have that timeline of when did she actually get home. And that 3-hour phone call that she was on, that could have been an open-ended phone call. He could have called her, laid that phone down in his camper, and made a road trip. And that phone is in his camper, pinging off of hey, look, I didn't leave my location. Look, you can look at the phone records. My phone was pinging at the camper, and then he made a trip and met her with Sebastian. I hate to have to think that way, but at this point, he's been missing since February the 26th.
Yep.
And, it doesn't look like it's going to be a good outcome. And I hope that I am so wrong, with that thinking. But anyway, we this group of ladies are huge, huge fans of you. So we're all fangirling that you took our call. That we're all.
I love it. I'd love to meet you guys when I get there. I'll be there on the 21st. It's a hard date. I'm definitely going to be there on the 21st.
Oh, perfect. I'm only 2 hours away, so I can go down there anytime. And we would love to see your maps. So I'm going to email you, and if you will send us those maps, we'll be glad to keep in contact with you while we're down there. We can go live with you while we're down there and search anywhere you'd like for us to search.
I appreciate that. Would be amazing. Can you tell me what? Well, you've been on the ground a little more. You've spoke to a lot of people, and I don't want you to put words in any specific person's mouth, but what's the environment like? I mean, being there, boots on the ground, do they really think, does the community lean one way or the other in this matter, in this case?
Now, I have not been at there yet. We're going this week. I was in on the search with Raleigh Strain. I started boots on the ground with Raleigh Strain. Was down in Nashville when they found him, and even in contact with Raleigh's family. I'm still in contact with Raleigh's family, but we have not been to Sebastian. We're going this week. We're actually going to be down there Tuesday so I don't know that answer.
Well, I hope you guys are available when I get there the 21st, because I'm definitely going there if he has not been found. And it doesn't really matter whether he's been found or not found. I'm going to still be going there just to get an idea of where everything, what everything happened, how everything transpired, where all these things are. I've got to see it for myself. It's one of those ways how I process these cases.
Right, exactly. Well, we, like I said, we're so glad that you took our call, and I will email you. I will email you and get those maps from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye-bye. Wow, we got amazing people doing amazing things. It's always, and I bet you, I forgot to ask her, I bet you it feels good to do good. I bet you it feels good to do good. This is Betty.
Hello, Betty. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Who's this and where are you calling from?
I'm about to have tears in my eyes. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm watching you, and you give me so much belief in what you are doing. I'm sitting here, I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to call her and see if I can get it. You stay positive, continue to keep us the way you keep us, because you are keeping us.
I appreciate it.
The way I see it, I'm about to have tears in my eyes. Continue to do what you do. But you know what I'm wondering? Why don't they have, I know you're having dogs, instead of having cadaver dogs for the living, why don't they have the dogs for, what is it when your body?
No, those are
cadaver dogs. It's on the tip of my tongue.
They have scent
dogs. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, they have scent dogs for live people and cadaver dogs for decomposing.
That's what I meant to say, decomposing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like I said, I'm doing my best. Listen, my name is Laverne Williams. I'm going to always be with you. I'm going to turn my computer on now, send you your props. Continue to do what you do.
Thank you, Laverne.
Please continue. We need you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
We need you.
Well,
we
God
do.
Bless
And
you,
keep in mind, I'm sitting here. We need you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I've been in your community quite a few because I was there for Alec Murdaugh, at least in your state. I was the one yelling at him when he was going to his trial.
Well, oh, wow. Well, he needed it, but I don't want to go there. Continue to do what you do.
I appreciate it, Laverne.
Keep us going.
Will do.
Teach us more, because you are teaching me. Teach us more. You don't know that you are teaching us. Teach us, please.
I appreciate it,
so we can
Laverne.
continue.
Yep. God
you
bless.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sweet. That's sweet. All right, guys. Well, I just want to say to everybody that has stopped by and visited and expressed their concerns, expressed their opinions about this case, I just want to say thank you. There was a few things that I starred, so before we go, I just wanted to answer some things, or at least bring them up here. It says, I don't understand why Chris lies about taking the polygraph. What can one gain by lying about that if you haven't really taken it? And then to make up an excuse that Ellie told me not to take one. I know it doesn't seem to ring true, and we have to ask ourselves, why did he lie? How would he benefit from lying? The only way he benefits from lying is by people thinking he's telling the truth. That's the only benefit he gets. He only gets the benefit of people thinking he took a polygraph test so they will look the other way. Why did he need them to look the other way? If you're not guilty, you're not guilty, whether you have a polygraph test or not. I'm not sure what happened, but I highly doubt he ran away. I think only way he ran away would be if he was in a heated argument with his mom and was scared about the repercussions from CP. Interesting, Teacup. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, there's a million things. There's a million things. I wonder how many people. We'll do a poll here in just a second. Don't leave just yet. We're going to do one final poll before we roll out of here. So sit tight. I really don't buy the behavior. Let me put this up here. I really don't buy the behavior of mom and CP, their reasoning behind it over wanting to find Sebastian. None of their excuses make sense if they cared about him. And I think that's the reason, because let's face it, what evidence do we have that makes us look at Katie and Chris? None. You know what makes us look at Katie and Chris? Katie and Chris. Their behavior, they're very weird, unusual, odd, bizarre, lack of caring, lack of emotion, almost expecting the ending. Behavior. The multiple lies they were caught in, the multiple discrepancies, the multiple inconsistencies. Them driving off to Timbuktu to run away from everybody during a massive search for their missing loved one, their own son, by the way. The child that she gave birth out of her own birthing canal. And she ran away to a different state while they're searching for him. That makes sense. None of this makes sense. That's why we're looking at them. We're looking at both Katie and Chris for no other purpose than what they brought on themselves by their own actions. And instead of acknowledging that we have major concerns, they act like it's everybody else and not them. I don't get it. The bite marks on Chris's arm is what got me. I think he got upset with Sebastian, grabbed him in a headlock. Sebastian bit him and enraged him, and he snapped. Yep, that's exactly what I thought happened when I saw those marks on him. And if they were potential bite marks, the only way he was going to get those bite marks right there is if his arms are coming from around the back side of Sebastian. From the back side to the front side. In my opinion. So, the poll. The poll I was going to do. Dad burn it. I was going to do a poll, and I forgot what my poll was. Don't leave. I'm going to do a poll. Hold on. Let me think here. What poll was I going to do? I forgot what poll I was going to do. I was just about to do a poll. What about the marks? I don't know. Bowersock sus as well. I think I was going to do a poll on who thinks this is an accident versus premeditation. Premeditation being number 1, accident being number 2. What does the audience, we got 719 people in the chat right now. What does the audience say? Do you believe this was premeditated, or do you believe that this was, I don't want to call it accident. We'll say other means, like him blowing up and losing a fuse. So premeditation, accident or blown fuse or whatever. Can you show the photos of the bite marks? Give me a second. I'm going to have to, yes, I can. I've got to find them and I've got to send them to the computer. Once I send them to the computer, I will be able to upload them. Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. Hold on a second. Yeah, we can look at the bite marks. Give me just a second. It's pulling up now. It doesn't matter if I take the phones off the screen stop because they're turned off anyways. So let me go ahead and put this up. Now we're probably going to have to blow it up. I think this is hopefully this is the best photo I've got of him. Let's see. Okay, let me get this down here. All right, let me get these banners off real quick as well. There we go. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is Chris. Oh, maybe I can do it this way. Let's see if we can open this up wider. Okay. It's kind of not panning. just not panning right because it's in portrait mode. So there's one set of marks. And here's the other set. Which it gets blurry. The bigger you make it, the blurrier it gets. So let me just pull it back. But these are the ones that everybody keeps thinking are the bite marks. Like those are the top teeth. These are the bottom teeth. That's what I've been hearing, that somebody thinks this right here is the bite mark or something. I was thinking this bruising right here was the actual bite mark. And these were the like scratches or something. But I really don't know. I'm not a professional in bite mark or scratch stuff, but that's kind of what I've got there for that, to be honest with you. I don't really have much else than that. I wonder what just happened to my my internet. Just started getting wonky. Oh, I know what I was going to ask people. Okay, so now here comes the major question, and this is related to the topic of conversation here on the Bullhorn Betty channel for tonight about whether this is premeditated or not. We're going to take the stance, and let me go back to this. I don't even think we talked about it yet. So, oh yes, we did. We talked about it way early on. So the people that are just joining in, we're talking about the premeditation and where Chris could have done it under the theory that Chris did something. Chris was home. Chris is the one that did this. This is under this theory, this speculative theory. How would he get rid of Sebastian, right? Because if we take the new timeline of the potential sighting of Sebastian at that Speedway gas station, then that would, to me, would imply, go ahead and turn this off, there we go, that he took Sebastian toward the direction of his work. So where would he be? I'm wondering if he stashed Sebastian in the RV, and that's the reason why he had to immediately go back to the RV. So let me ask you this. Under the theory that he took Sebastian with him, do you think he dumped him before he went to work? Or do you think he took him to the RV and then went to work? One, that he dumped before he went. Two, that he stuck him in the RV for safekeeping while he went to work to receive the call. I'm just curious as to what people think here in this chat. 2. RV. 1, dump. Okay. I bet you I'm making you guys think about that RV though, aren't I? Put a thumbs up in the chat right now if nobody thought about Sebastian being hidden in that RV. If I made you think about a new theory or a new possibility, put a thumbs up in the chat. I just want to gauge, my thought process as well. Okay, good. At least got at least one. Oh, good. Some people. Yeah, I was sitting here talking about it, and you know what? And it was like a light bulb that went over my head, and it was like, wait a minute, the RV. We kept asking about the stupid RV. Why is he going back to the stupid RV? Why is, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody we like literally stopped. It's like, why is he going back? And he's like, oh, I had to get my RV out of there. And we're like, what company do you work for that you have a missing child and they demand you to come back and get all your shit and get out? And it was like, really, are you that bad of an employee that they were just waiting for something to happen? I mean, it didn't make sense to us. And so while I was sitting here, I don't know what it was, but it was earlier. Maybe it's because, I'm being more involved in the moderator chat. Remember I told you guys that, they do a lot of work, but I'm always just kind of doing my own thing. I never get over there. I gave you guys my word. I was going to start looking at getting in there and working because we have a team. And so we were in there and we're just chatting all day about this case, and all of a sudden it just pops up over my head, and I'm like, the stupid RV. Like, how the hell did we forget about the RV? Where I'm scratching my head, I'm beating I'm just like, where could this kid be? What could have happened? If we think it's Chris, how can we plausibly work this? And it just wasn't working. But now if this Speedway lead is legit, this really does give some water to that, holding some water to that theory. So I'm very interested on this. And the reason why I'm excited about this is because this will explain why we can't find Sebastian where everybody's looking. This means we need to be in a different place looking. So I'm kind of hopeful for some new information like this, for a new direction, for some new wind in the sails of these searches and stuff like that. Obviously, we have some beautiful people on the ground that's wanting to search, that are out there to search, that are going to give it their all, that have been out there, that have been doing everything they can. That girl is one of many people out there doing this very thing, where they're just trying to bring any information to the public. And guys, when they're out there searching, do your part too. Don't just listen to what they're saying. Look at the videos. Okay? Like, I'm serious. Like, some people get caught and they're like, oh, this is boring. They're not talking. They're not supposed to be. We're not supposed to be chatting when we're searching. We're supposed to be searching when we're searching, right? So use those videos. Start combing through those videos. If you see something catch your eye, stop it and blow it up and see what it is. You never know. You never know. You're never going to find something unless you're hunting for it. So, that's kind of where we're at. So I will be out there. It is a hard date, guys. I want to let you know that we will be out there on April 21st. There's, at this point, that'll be after the court hearing. No matter what, I'll be back. I'll be rested and I'll be ready to go and leave here on the 20th. And we'll be there. I'm going to be staying there for at least a week or two. I really want to give this. I need to get in there. And like I said, my areas of searching are not in their areas of searching. They have never been in their areas of searching. And I've been really wanting to get out there. I tried to share my maps with people to get them out in certain areas, but it didn't seem like. So long story short, we'll get out there eventually, and we'll start getting our boots on the ground and try to look at some other areas and identify. And as this stuff starts, this is going to start getting more and more intense. Okay, guys, I'm just going to let you know, law enforcement is going to be getting harder and harder on some people in this area because this boy has been missing for so long. Something clearly has happened to him, more than what we are being told. We don't know what. We are all, I just want to clear this all up, no matter how we feel about Chris or Katie or anything in this story, we're all speculating here. We do not, none of us. We have good hunches, we have good information and good intel, but none of us, and I mean none of us, were there. So we really don't know at the end of the day. It's a high probability that at minimum Chris is involved, maybe more, but there is also the possibility that this really could be an RSO or some deranged lunatic that has ninja skills. I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. There is a possibility. Okay, there is a possibility. So guys, be careful of those, ninjas that like to break in homes and kidnap your kids in the middle of the night and clean up after themselves and lock the front door on their way out. You really want to make sure, and you actually might want to, since the ninja is so good at what the ninja does, you might want to just give them a list, just tell them to clean this, clean that on their way out. If they're going to give you a break by taking your kid, they might as well clean up after the kid, right? So just give them a list. It doesn't make sense, okay? I'm being facetious and I'm being sarcastic for a purpose. It makes no sense. There was no stinking ninja. There's no stinking aliens. You know what there was? There was a mom and a stepfather. You know what the problem was? There was a mom and there was a stepfather. So, and that's all she wrote, folks. So there we go, guys. I want to thank you for coming and enjoying this, or joining me with this. Thank you for communicating, talking with me, giving me your perspectives. I got to tell you, some of this stuff makes me go, the stuff that I'm saying, the stuff that you're saying, this round table set up so we can really put our brains, and like I told my team, and I'm going to tell you guys this too, okay? Actually, let me read it verbatim, because they think I'm part serial killer at this point because of what I said in my chat. I think it was something I probably won't be able to find it because we've been communicating all day, but it was something to the effect of, we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, we all have our own experiences in life. We're all different, okay? Even ones that are almost the same have some differences. So how would you commit this crime? Right? It sounds a little stalkerish. It sounds a little, Brian Kober-ish, Brian Koberger-ish, right? In that questionnaire he sent out but I'm not asking people that have been in, I'm not asking people that have already done this. I'm asking for real people. Like, you got to think of it. Chris is not a career criminal, okay? He doesn't know what he's doing over here. He's a Navy man, okay? He's not even no, I should stop. My uncle's Navy. My uncle will kick my ass if I say anything about the Navy. But he's not a career criminal, so he's an average Joe. So how would you, as an average Joe, with your personal experience, your weaknesses, your strength, your everything, I want you to think about it long and hard here. Now, I don't want you to actually get too overly involved in this exercise, but I would like, the next time we have the phones open, I want to know how you would commit this crime. How would you plan and execute this crime to get this child out of this house so you never have to see him again? Put pen to paper, think about it, and I really want this to be realistic. If you had to get rid of this boy, how would you do it? How would you do it? So next time we're back here, I want to know how you would commit this crime. And trust me, we will not hold it against you. We need to figure this out. Something happened. I truly believe something happened inside that home. The majority of my audience believes something happened inside that home. I'm watching social media. I'm watching other talking heads. It seems like even when we don't even get along on anything else, we're all getting along on this stance right now, where we're thinking that there is foul play involved in this case, and it's going right back to Katie and Christopher Proudfoot's front door. Actually, I should probably say garage door, but who's saying, right? I digress. All right, guys, take it easy. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and we have enough crazy in this world. So do an act of kindness for a perfect stranger. Don't forget, be safe while doing so. Peace out.